Hey there everyone, and welcome back to another walkthrough series. In this video we're going to take a look at reading passage 2, population movement and genetics. So basically reading passage 2 is somewhat of a abstract text or paragraphs where it consists of the author's opinions or stuff like that. You might have difficulties because reading passage 2, as I said, if it's an abstract text, that means sometimes people with lack of common sense will have difficulties to identify the main idea. So, and then it is also pretty much sometimes hard to draw inferences, make implications, or maybe identify any applicable concepts. But so we're going to skim through the questions. We know that list of headings, this short paragraph, skimming through the whole paragraph, it can be seen that the writer talks about something about that is related to the techniques. I just found the first word over here. It's talking something that is population movement and genetics. I pretty much believe that it's going to be it's going to talk something that is related to Americas and how population America, they pretty much arrived, how did they arrive and stuff like that. So, okay, we have the results of the research into blood variants, we have dental evidence, we have Greenberg's analysis of the dental and linguistic evidence, we have developments in the methods used to study early population movements, Indian migration from Canada to the USA, further genetic evidence related to the three-wave theory, long-standing questions about prehistoric migration to America, conflicting views. But we have to take into consideration that paragraph G is already answered for that. So we're going to take away this option for ourselves, so we don't have to we don't have to get distracted or make any false opinions. So let's start with the passage A. Study of the origins and distribution of human population. I'm going to highlight that. Used to be based on archaeological and fossil evidence. A number of techniques developed since the 1950s, however, have placed the study of these subjects on a sounder and more objective footing, which pretty much means that they're having a stronger and more unbiased basis. The best information on early population movement is now being obtained from the archaeology of the living body, the clues to be found in genetic material. Okay, so basically paragraph A, most of the time paragraph A or the very first paragraph is mainly about descriptions. Let's say describing a particular topic. But I would say that it is going to describe what's the whole text or the what's the whole text or the main idea about, right? So we know that it's talking about a number of techniques, and the first thing that I noticed when it comes to techniques is I think it's talking about methods. We can say developments in the methods. We can already see that developments in the methods, so that like number of techniques developed. So pretty easy. We can take that option and remove that as well, and we're going to give number 4, right? So we have number 4. Now with the paragraph B, recent work on the problem of when people first entered. We have the word problem, and we have the word first entered to the Americas, is an example of the value of these new techniques. Okay, sort of an example. Northeast Asia and Siberia have long been accepted as the launching ground for the first human colonizers. So a colonizer is someone. So first of all, let me just quickly underline this, but not underline, but just give myself a highlight that we found the first answer over here. So we have the word colonizer. A colonizer is a person who helps to take control of an area, usually when it's not theirs, right? So was there one major wave of immigration across the Bering Strait into Americas, or several? So, and when did this event or events take place? In recent years, new clues have come from research into genetics, including the distribution of genetic markers in modern Native Americans. So basically what's happening here, I think that it's just pretty much giving questions that are not pretty much answered. So they're saying, was there one major or was there several? And when this event or events take place or happened. So for this option, I would say that pretty much we can see that the long-standing questions about prehistoric migration. Prehistoric migration is an early population. Oh, wait, I'm sorry for that, but no, not this, but I would say the migration across, right? So just that's basically long-standing question. Prehistoric migration. Prehistoric migration is talking about so the migration across the Bering Strait into Americas, and what the word when did happen, and the word and the last sentence is pretty much describing, not describing, by saying that in recent years new ideas came from the genetics to including the genetic markers. Genetic markers are spots in modern Native Americans. So yeah, I would say that that's definitely not option number 7. We're not going to think that for a very long time because we have a very limited time. Now, paragraph C, an important project. We have the important project led by the biological anthropologist Robert Williams, focused on the variants called GM allotypes of one particular protein, immunoglobulin, globin G, found in the fluid portion of human blood. So okay, we have human blood. Or all proteins drift or produce variants over the generations and members of an interbreeding human population. Well, so this is the first thing that I noticed. Interbreeding. We have the word closeness. When it comes to the word closeness, interbreeding is interbreeding means to a mix of breeding that when you mix an animal with another animal, so when they breed, they come up with a new looking type of an animal. So yeah, human population will share a set of such variants. Thus, by comparing the GM allotypes of two different populations, example, two Indian tribes, one can establish their genetic distance, which itself can be calibrated to give an indication of the length of time since these populations last interbred. So the word calibrated, they are pretty much measuring. So the word calibrate means to measure the units of something. So therefore, option C. Option C is also another easy. So the word measure. I think blood. There was a word called blood variants, right? I guess where was it? I remember the word to human blood. So we have such variants, and we have the human blood variants, right? So I would say that's the option. There we go. We have the blood variants and the relationship between two different populations. So like between different population, I would say necessarily, of course, yes, different population are two Indian tribes. So yeah, option number 10 is going to be the answer. So we're gonna take that and put there, and we're going to remove it as well, so we're not getting distracted. So once again, D. Okay, so Williams and his colleagues sampled the blood. So Williams sampled the blood of over 5,000 American Indians in western North America during a 20-year period. So sampled over 5,000 bloods, and they found that their GM allotypes could be divided into two groups. So they could be divided into two groups, one of which also correspond to the genetic type of Central and South American Indians. That's number. So let's take that. Other tests show that the Inuit, or otherwise known as Eskimo or Aleut, formed a third group. So we have a third group. From this evidence, it was deduced that, so we have the word deduced, meaning to make conclusions, that there had been three major waves of migration across the Bering Strait. The first Paleo-Indian wave more than 15,000 years ago, was ancestral to all Central and American Indians. There we go. And the second wave, we have the word second wave, 14 to 12,000 years ago. We have to take a notice of that. Nadini hunters, ancestors of the Navajo or Apache, who only migrated south from Canada about 600 to 700 years ago. The third wave, we have also a third wave, 10,000 or 10,000 or 9,000 years ago, saw the migration from Northeast Asia Northeast Asia of groups ancestral to the modern Eskimo or Inuit. So do we have a continuous? No, we don't have that. So section D. Option B. William and his colleagues sampled the blood over 5,000 American Indians. They found that their amylotypes could be divided into two groups. Other tests showed that, and blah blah blah. They're saying from this evidence it was deduced. So we know that the paragraph refers to some sort of a result. So I would say that the result of the research. So the word evidence is somehow correlates with the idea. Research relates to something like a word. Where was it? They found, and the word from this evidence. I can highlight that, and from this evidence. So yeah, I would say that this is the option. This is where we find the answer for number 17, right? So we're going to take that 17. So there we go, and we're going to also put not 17 here, but not 1 but 14. And we also found B. That it starts from here. It was number 15, I guess. So I guess it was number 15. All right. And C, the word two different populations and stuff like that, interbreeding, and we have number 16. We're gonna take that, and I'm going to make it slightly a bit bolder, so it's pretty much easier for us to navigate through the answers. So okay, so 17, there we go. And then so option number D, so that's basically, it was what we chose. So we chose D. We chose D as option number 1. Yes, because it's talking about results. So we're going to take and put 1 there. Now option E. Okay, we have DE. How far does other research support these conclusions? How do they support it? I'm going to take green. Geneticist Douglas Wallace has studied mitochondrial DNA in blood samples from 3 widely separated Native American groups: Pima Papago Indians or Arizona, Maya Indians, and Yucatan Peninsula, Mexico, and Ticuna Indians in the upper Amazon region of Brazil. As would have been predicted, predicted by Robert Williams' work, all three groups appear to be descended. From the same ancestral, meaning Paleo-Indian population. So how far does other research support this conclusion? Followed by the word, I think followed by the word geneticist, Douglas. It is clear. So it is clear that the other research is carried out by the geneticists. It is a genetic research. So the conclusions, which is genetic research, supports the conclusion mentioned in section D, right? So that's pretty much is an answer. A further genetic evidence. We have the word further genetic evidence. So option number 6 is going to be the answer for us. So option number 6. So I'm gonna take that, and we're going to remove. So once again, the paragraph D is being answered in, not answered, but explained in paragraph E. That's pretty much what is happening here. So the word conclusions. So the here I'm going to put up, I think 18, right? So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to put 18. All right. So now, what are we going to do here? We are left with so did we remove that? Yes, we did remove. We're left with section F. There are 2 other kinds of research that have thrown some light on the origins of the Native American population. They involve the study of teeth and languages. Come on. Yes, of course. That is an easy one. Dental evidence. Why not? Studies carried out by Turner and many thousands of new and old world specimens, both ancient and modern, suggest that the majority of prehistoric Americans are linked to North Asian population by crown and root traits such as incisor, shoveling, scooping out on one or both surfaces of the tooth. That's I would say this is a pretty much easy one. So option number 2 is the answer. So I would 100% sure that it's the answer here. So dental evidence. There we go. Yeah, I'm just gonna make it a little bit of fancy here, fancy way of answering it. So now we're left with question 20 and 21. The discussion of Williams' research indicates the periods at which early people are thought to have migrated along certain routes. Okay, we have a map. We have so we have, I'm gonna underline that. We have 15,000 and we have 600 to 700,000, and we remember it was here. So 15,000 or more. And now let's take a look at this. All right. It says from this evidence it was deduced that there had been 3 major waves from the migration across Bering. Okay. All right. Bering Strait, 15,000 years ago, was ancestor to all Central and South American Indians. So basically, okay, that means here only the option E is going to the Central. Is it Central? Is it Central and South American Indians? Central and South American Indians. Who's going to the central area? So if it's E, it's only that E. It's only that. Is it C? No, I wouldn't say it's C. C stop here. So somewhere with Canada. So F is going all the way back here, and South America. So US. What is happening here? So 15,000 ago was ancestral. So Paleo-Indian. First Paleo-Indian was more than 15,000 years, was ancestor to all Central and South American Indians. So where did they go? E, they went to the center, and they just pretty much separated. Central America. Oh, there we go. We have Central America. I didn't take a notice of that. However, don't worry. You'll have a much more clearer view in your official examination. So I would say that option E is the correct one here. Just gonna take that and put E here, and then we have the word what are we left with? 600 or 700, and we remember 600 to 700. So I think there we go. We have the word we have the answer 20 here. I'm gonna put 20. First Paleo-Indian. Now we're left with 600 to 700. So 600 or 700 years ago. The third wave, 1,000 or 9,000 years ago. Alright, so who only migrated south from Canada. From Canada to south, D, right? So the option D is the correct one. So okay, I'm gonna choose D. I'm gonna put here as number 21. Alright, so now we're left with, so reading passage 2 refers to 3-wave theory of early migration to the Americas. It is also it also suggests in which of these 3 waves the ancestors of various groups of modern Native Americans first reached the continent. And classify the groups named. Alright, we have the first wave, second wave, and third wave. So Inuit. Alright, yeah, Inuit. We know. So Inuit, Apache, Pima, Pamago, and Pima, Papago. It's really hard to sound that out loud. So we remember that we remember the third wave. Third wave, it was by who? Eskimo and Inuit. Eskimos they are known as we remember the word Eskimo. It was, where was it? So we remember that Eskimos or Inuits, they are otherwise known as, there we go, we have Inuit. and we have the word. So basically, Inuit. The third wave, perhaps 10,900 years ago, saw the migration from Northeast Asia of groups ancestral to the modern Eskimo, Inuit, and Inuit. So, who? Obviously, obviously the third wave. We're gonna choose option C here. All right, so you're gonna say that as well. Apache or Apache. I don't really know that. And we remember the word Apache. Where was the word Apache? We have Nadene. Do we have Nadene, or what is that? And let's look at the second wave. We remember second wave. First, we have second Nadene hunters, ancestors of Navajo. So Apache, and the second wave about something that brought Nadene hunters, ancestors of Navajo and Apache. Okay, so I would say the answer is B. I'm gonna take that and make it bold. Pima Papago. So we know Pima Papago was where? So we remember that. So Pima Papago. We have Pima Papago. So what happened here? Pima Papago. Geneticist Douglas Wallace has studied Pima Papago Indians, Maya Indians, and Ticuna Indians. All three groups appear to be descended from the same ancestral. So same ancestral. From the same ancestral Paleo-Indian, right? Same ancestral Paleo-Indian. So, and we know from the section D that this population was the first wave. The first because it says where was the first. We remember. So this is the first Paleo-Indian, American Indians, so Paleo-Indian waves. So Pima Papago goes to the it goes to the Paleo-Indian population, so that's going to be option A. Right, we're gonna choose that as well. And you're left with Ticuna. So where did we meet the word Ticuna? I encountered that word somewhere. Okay, we gotta skim through really quickly. Ticuna. We have Christy Turner. Okay, we're gonna highlight that. And we have, alright, what do we have? Christy Turner is an expert in the analysis. Is an expert in the analysis of changing physical characteristics of human teeth. He argues that the bones blah 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 minimized. Okay, Turner suggests that Americans. Alright. Thousands of new old world specimens, both ancient and modern, suggest that the majority of prehistoric Americans are linked to our northern Asian populations by crown or root trace and so on. So Turner's research examined thousands of new and old world teeth, right? So both ancient and modern, because teeth. Okay, we have. She's saying teeth from both prehistoric and modern Americans and Asians. So teeth is specimens, prehistoric is an ancient, and New World is an American, Old World is Europe, Asia, and Africa. So B and D, do we have B and D? Is it B and D are answering for us? No. Okay. So we're only left with the option A, is it? The first wave, Ticuna. I would say necessarily it's first wave. Although I'm not really sure for this one. So 26. What is 26 saying to us? Alright. Or I'm sorry, but I'm not really sure. I think that Ticuna was obviously A, right? So I remember first wave. I pretty much believe that the first wave was taken. Okay. Now, Christy Turner. Christy Turner's research involved the examination of what? So, teeth from both prehistoric and modern prehistoric agents. Thousands of people who what is that? Who live? I'm sorry for that. We have a mistake here. Who live in either the New or Old World? Dental specimens? No. Eating habits of American Asian populations. I'm reading this for the very second time. So so once again, as I said before, teeth is specimens, right? So prehistoric is an ancient. We remember the word prehistoric. What did she do? See, because she argues both true, blah blah blah. Minimally, we have thousands of new old world. So we have specimens, ancient and modern. So once again, ancient is Europe, Asia, Africa. But whereas modern is America, we have prehistoric, which means ancient. So option A would be the suitable answer here. And I'm going to eliminate these ones. Eliminate that. So are we left more? So no, we're left with reading passage 3. So there we go, guys. We dealt with it successfully. So yeah. Although it was a tiny bit hard to navigate through the answers. Also, I'm gonna put number 26 here. So 26, just in case we need it for later usage. So yeah, there we go, guys. It was pretty complicated to understand, to make any inferences and so on, but we somehow tried to manage to find the correct options and correct answers. So thank you very much for watching, guys. If you liked it, please smash that like button and subscribe if you find it really helpful. And thank you very much for watching.